After proclaiming its independence in 1991, Ukraine continued to live under the Soviet constitution. The process of preparing the new constitution lasted 6 years, with an active period of 3 months. Over this time, the commission creating the new laws worked on the project without a single day off. About 6,000 amendments were made by the time of its second reading.
On the morning of June 28, 22 years ago, the Constitution of Ukraine was signed into power in this very session hall. The right of the Constitution to exist was decided around 2 a.m. after Democratic MPs managed to persuade left-wing MPs to support the article on state symbols of Ukraine.
That same morning, Ukrainian communists in the parliament also agreed to settle on state symbols, a blue and yellow flag, the trident, and the anthem. In exchange for concessions on the Crimean issue, nationalists and Democrats adopted the version of the constitution proposed by the old communist guard. The autonomous Republic of Crimea was to have its own constitution, parliament, and a cabinet of ministers. The nationalist patriotic part of the parliament thought at the time that this was a step towards a possible Russian annexation of the peninsula.
The autonomous Republic of Crimea had their own constitution, yet the Parliament of Crimea lost their right to adopt laws, so that Ukraine would stay a unitarian state with no elements of a federated or confederated system. For that exact reason, according to the new constitution of Ukraine, the Parliament of Crimea could only pass regulatory acts which hold less power compared to laws.
Росія ніколи не залишала поза інтересами Криму.
Crimea has always been in the sphere of interest of Russia. Ukraine never took into consideration the specifics of life in Crimea, and then laid down in the constitution that each territory can raise a question of sovereignty over that territory, but the issue should not be voted nationwide. Not just raise the question, vote yourself and secede.
After the Russian annexation of the Crimea in 2014, the president of Ukraine initiated changes to the constitution to facilitate Crimean Tatar autonomy. A constitutional committee then drafted an amendment on the issue.
This question shall not be ignored by anyone. Crimea should change its status and Crimean Tatars should have their rights restored. We demand that, pure and simple.
Since its adoption, the Ukrainian constitution has changed several times. The first attempt was in 2000 under President Leonid Kuchma. An all-Ukrainian referendum was held with questions about the introduction of a two-chamber parliament, on the president's right to dissolve the Verkhovna Rada if it does not form a majority in a month, as well as on the cancellation of parliamentary immunity. Ukrainians supported the changes, but they were not added to the constitution. In 2004, Ukraine was transformed into a parliamentary presidential state. In 2010, when Viktor Yanukovych came to power, the Constitutional Court decided that Ukraine is to become a presidential parliamentary republic once again. After the Revolution of Dignity, that decision was overturned. Ukraine has since returned to the parliamentary presidential form of government. Leonid Yemets, son of the late Alexander Yemets, who took part in the drafting of the Constitution, jokes that amending the Constitution is a family tradition. Now, Leonid is a member of the new Constitutional Commission.
Corruption is a tradition we inherited from Soviet Union. To eradicate it, we are forced to amend the Constitution in regards to judicial reform, MP immunity. The Constitution has to resolve the question of the rules by which the Parliament is elected, especially since there's an opinion that we have to abandon the parliamentary presidential form of government, since right now it only exists as a formality.
Petro Poroshenko, the president of Ukraine, has recently suggested recording Ukraine's aspirations to European and Euro-Atlantic integration into the constitution.